Hey guys, welcome back to the TohirT channel. Tahir is here. I hope you had a fantastic week. Today it's a little bit of a different video. I think maybe it's the seasons. We finally got like proper October cold over here. Maybe it's because things just in difference been changing a little bit, or I just felt doing something different. In either case, it's a very interesting way that I'm gonna approach today's topic because I'm talking about the movie trailers, whether it's on form of art and how they're connected to our personal elevator pitches and how do we pitch ourselves, whether it's a personal setting, professional setting, whether we are pitching our project, our company, ourselves for the promotion, or maybe ourselves on the dating app. Yeah. I think it will be a little bit of a random mix and match, but at the end of the video, I hope you will A, be entertained, and B, learn a few things on how to position yourself and your personal brand. Let's do this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know how this machine worked.
First of all, the reason why I like talking about this kind of topics is you probably did not even think movie trailers or directing movie trailers is its own form of art, its own profession. There's a job title associated with it. And yeah, you actually might have known it if you've watched the movie The Holiday with Cameron Diaz, where Cameron Diaz's character was the trailer director. Yes, it definitely is a form of occupation. And yes, it carries a lot of different challenges with it. One of the key ones is how much of the movie do you want to spoil to entice people to come and watch it versus how big of a secret you want to keep around that movie and yet risk the fact that you will not explain the reason why people should come to the theater in the first place. And this is the first of the two challenges I want to talk about today. The storytelling aspect of a trailer, the story that you're telling through the trailer, and how much of a big main story do you want to spoil or expose to your audience. And frankly, comedies I think are very frequently at fault for breaking this rule because they try to show that this movie is entertaining. There are a lot of fun jokes in it, and by that they insert probably the best jokes into the trailer, and by that spoiling the experience you could have had while watching the movie for the first time and seeing that joke for the first time in the theater surrounded by your friends. While on the opposite side of the spectrum are trailers for Marvel movies and trailers specifically edited by Russo brothers that do not tell you anything, or if they do, they try it on purpose to confuse you about the direction in which the movie will take place. Russo brothers are famous for editing and adding new scenes or completely changing the way the scenes look, changing the details in the scenes, even inserting or removing certain characters from the trailer to make sure you do not fully understand what's happening, yet you are entertained enough and you're drawn into the experience to come and watch it. And when I think about both sides of the coin, when I think about the stories in the trailers that spoil the main story yet show you a lot of what you will experience in the theater versus the trailers for movies like The Avengers, where you see the trailer, you kind of understand it, but at the same time you know that half of the trailer is probably either fake or completely changed. Well, I'm definitely on the latter side of the things. I prefer to be surprised. Show me that this will be an engaging experience amid certain facts and surprise me while I'm sitting in that theater. Now, how does this challenge translate to the personal side? Well, this is the perfect example of when we're preparing our elevator pitch. We want to be concise and precise in our messaging, yet we do not want to overwhelm our listener. How many times did you meet someone for the first time and you tried to tell them about yourself in a short form, yet you either took yourself down the completely wrong path and focused on something that's completely irrelevant to the person, or as you speak you notice that the person is, losing their interest and they slowly hold their drink and start looking aside trying to figure out a way to escape you. That is what the trailer story is. The elevator pitch of yours should have enough of interesting highlights that do not overwhelm your listener, yet they give them an interesting taste of what's to come. For example, if you are working on the video project or you're working on your personal business, why not to say what are you trying to achieve? Maybe tell them about the impact that you're striving for and mention a couple of interesting anecdotes about you personally. And imagine this is sort of like a form of card. If you've ever seen speakers having the deck of cards that they just go through and there are different points, talking points that I want to describe during their speech. Well, your elevator pitch is the summary card at the very beginning where you highlight what you really care about and a couple of interesting facts about yourself. And if the person got enticed enough to listen to you, A, you know that they will be invested as you start describing the bigger story. And B, if they're not interested, well, you wasted only 30 seconds of your life instead of wasting a few minutes that you could have been spending with someone else describing to them your story and creating that interesting interpersonal connection. You have those cards later on as you start digging through them and you start going through deeper levels of your topic. And if they say, oh, wait a second, you're trying to change the plastic production industry, tell me more about it. Now you can flip to another card card and start talking about specifically what you're focusing on and what you work on. This approach essentially translates to the way the trailers work, is that the trailer is your first card. You give a tease of certain things. You do not express too many things, yet you do not omit things that can be interesting to other people. And once you get their attention, now you can share the broader story and talk about yourself and why they should continue engaging with you, whether it's you looking for a job and being at the job interview, you pitching your product as a business owner, or you pitching yourself on your first date. The second challenge the trailer editors and directors and us in our personal elevator pitch face alike are the details. How many and what kind of details you want to highlight. We already spoke about the storytelling piece and the visuals, but the other layer within the trailers are the sounds, the music, the narration, and sometimes those narration cards. And quite frankly, when I start thinking about it when preparing for this video, I realized it's been a while since I've seen trailers like this.
Iris and Amanda are in exactly the same place.
Yeah, long gone, I think, the trailer cards or narration. Now the editors and the directors fully focus on building out the story through the scenes, sounds, and the music combination. The trailer for Dunkirk comes to mind, and how masterfully Christopher Nolan and the partner who he directed this trailer with, I'll add this person's name over here because I don't recall them off the top of their head, how masterfully they used the ticking clock and the sounds of airplanes to build up that upcoming danger that the characters in the scene are facing. This is the example of when the correct combination of the details and the visuals and the storyline builds that attention and draws people into your story. While on the opposite side of the spectrum, you've seen those trailers that have a ton of explosions, sounds, scenes, switches, transitions, wishes and whooshes, hits and tracks and bangs and dongs, whatever else that they're trying to throw in your face throughout the trailer. Phrasing. You will later on realize that this is almost like a fast food of entertainment. You've seen a lot, your certain senses were tickled, your certain experiences that you've caught through that trailer caught your attention, yet at the end of it, you kind of left dissatisfied. You're full, yet you're dissatisfied on the inside. Translating this into our personal stories, you have to avoid sounding too plasticky when you pitch yourself. Please focus on selecting I usually go for a couple of interesting points of my professional background if this is a professional pitch, or a couple of personal interesting facts if it's a personal story, and I add it with a couple of anecdotes to just show my personality. That's it. Do not go and overwhelm your audience or your listener with telling them how amazing you are and how these beautiful things that you did and how many career achievements you had, how many different amazing things that you did personally. When you start adding those details and you have too many of them, the reason I call it plasticky, because you sound like you're fake. I've been on the interviews when I've interviewed someone and they tell a lot of good things about themselves, and those things can be true, but the way they told them and how many of them that told them in a row overwhelms my brain and essentially makes me question whether those facts are true. I know this might not be fair, and you rightfully can say, Tahir, I want to share those facts about myself. This is why I'm excelled at things. This is why people should care about. That's fair, but people only can retain so much. McKinsey company have this whole logic where people can retain only 3 to 5 things at a time. So that is why I want you to focus on either 3 or 5 interesting things. So it can be 1 interesting professional fact and a couple of personal anecdotes, or a couple of professional facts and then maybe 3 personal anecdotes, but that's it. Focus on, instead of overwhelming your audience, rather entice them with a couple of interesting things about yourself. Maybe drop hints about certain things that you did and step back. If they're interested, they will ask you, they will follow up, and that's when it will be a moment to shine. The example of it can be LinkedIn. I've recently been thinking about, for example, the LinkedIn headline on my profile, and how can I tell people what do I bring to the table. And the 2 interesting things that I was able to extract from it is that I have my business professional skills and I have my video editing and storytelling skills. So I can tease them both in there without worrying about going into too many details, because if people are interested, they will message me and they will ask, or they'll scroll further down through my profile, or they visit my personal website and they will see what I can offer on both sides of that coin. So same applies to you. Think about interesting points that you want to bring up. Don't overwhelm your audience, and give them enough to be drawn in, yet not enough to be overwhelmed.
You're a kite dancing in a hurricane, Mr. Bond.
Now, when I keep coming back to the personal side of things, please note that it is still work in progress. It's almost like Sagrada Família in Barcelona. You keep building it, you keep reworking it for years and years to come. I still work through my personal story and how I position myself by thinking about what I put on LinkedIn, by thinking about what I put on my personal website, by thinking about what I share on this website, on this YouTube channel. And I want you to use either your passion projects or your professional websites or your professional profiles on the websites like LinkedIn, Flickr, Instagram, wherever you put out your content or your story. Think about how do you position, play around with it, reposition it, try out different things, see what people respond to well versus what they don't. It's a continuous process of you experimenting and seeing what tracks with people versus what people do not really care, or at least do not get enticed enough to ask you a follow-up question. I think this is the beauty of self-discovery. You have to always think about, you have to think through your personal experience, your professional experience, what you bring to the table in order to be able to actually express it. And as with any other thing, you have to keep practicing, you have to keep going through those stories, you have to keep going through your pitch, failing at your pitch, not saying the right things, not saying the right things at the right time, taking too much, taking not enough time. You will learn through the process. So don't be afraid of those awkward moments when people do not understand you, because through those awkward moments is when you truly learn how to perfectly position yourself. Do you agree that the trailers are its own form of art? What is your favorite movie or TV show trailer? And what are ways by which you can adjust your personal pitch and make it like a masterful teaser to entice people to learn more about you? Share your thoughts, ideas, and links in the section below. I know that connection between the personal values, personal pitch, and the movie trailers is quite random, but I would say it's unique, and this is what I enjoy doing. I enjoy looking at common objects, common things throughout our day-to-day that would not necessarily think about as something that influence our development, and I like to break them down, Malcolm Gladwell them, and share with you my personal point of view. That's the fun of it. This is the unique voice that I would like to share with you on a recurring basis, and I hope you enjoyed it. And this is all that I have for you this week. I hope you were entertained. I hope you learned something new, or at least got to think about the topic, in this case, movie trailers, in a completely different perspective. Thank you very much, guys, for stopping by. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, hit the subscribe button and check out the videos in the backlog. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you very much for stopping by. As always, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this video, and I will see you all next Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on this very channel. Funny thing, after watching all these trailers in preparation for this video, I kind of got a desire to rewatch that holiday movie, because I watched it, I was like, hey, it was actually kind of fun, rom-com. I don't know, I'll have to pick one of these movies and probably close and wrap my evening with another movie experience. Or I might just play another video game or something. I don't know. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.